I was given a shout out for the very first time ever on YouTube. Let me explain. Do you know when you go to your Facebook page and you look back on your memories of what happened in the past several years? Well, the other day I did that myself. I went across my memories and I came across this interesting treasure. It was a video that I had shared back in 2016 on the React channel, and they gave my name a shout out during their closing portions of the video. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. Now, this was a challenge that was on the React channel, and basically it was college kids try not to look back. And so they would be watching these videos and then it would pause. And so what they would have to do was turn around and look the other way without looking at the video. And it was a challenge for some of these. They could not resist. And some of them would fail. And so that's was the premise for that video. And you would have these different video clips, interesting videos, and they would pause it. They'd have to turn around and not watch the rest of the video. And as you could see, some of them would fail at doing that. Now, what they would do at the end of the video would be giving some of the viewers a shout out. And what you'd have to do is put in a comment and ask for a shout out, and in a future video they would give you that. And so that's what happened on this video, because I'll show you at the very end of the video when they would do their thanks for watching segment and they would give someone a shout out. Now, back then, that was 6 years ago, and they actually gave me a shout out in their outro. And at that time, it was just my regular name. It was no name like when I used to call myself Oblivious Dad, Cobra Disney Jedi. That did not happen. I just had my regular name, Darren Scholes, and that was it. And so let me share that clip with you when they gave me a shout out.
Thanks for watching this episode of College Kids React. Subscribe for more episodes of us facing the camera. Shout out to Darren Scholes and Reaper.
What videos should we try not to turn around to next? Let us know in the comments.
Thanks for watching, because we sure didn't get to. Bye!
Subscribe for more episodes of us facing the camera. Shout out to Darren Scholes and Reaper.
And so that was the very first time that I had my name shouted out on YouTube. So what about you? Did you guys get your names shouted out in a previous video on YouTube, whether you were a content creator or not? Let me know down in the comments. I'd appreciate that. And speaking of shoutouts, one of the things I wanted to talk about was what I was doing in the past few months, and that was my subscriber shoutouts. Basically, what I was doing was giving shoutouts to those who I subscribed to. In fact, this is on my playlist on my channel called My Subscriber Shoutouts, and it started about a year ago. My first shoutout was the Star Wars guys, or as he was known back then. Right now, he's currently known as Fandomology. And these views were okay. I get around 30 views, 34 views. I gave subscriber shout out to the Disneyland Beat, the Professor of Rock, Echo Base Network. Now that's my most viewed of this playlist. And about 7 months, my final subscriber shout out was to Paul Merrill, and that did not get the views that I was hoping for. But one thing that was in common with a couple of these subscriber shout outs, with Echo Base Network, with Matt Cave Gaming, and with Fandomology, is we had one common denominator, and we were all part of the Echo Base network community. These other 3 subscribers that I gave shoutouts to were not. And so because of that, I just was going over the idea of whether or not to just quit this altogether. Now, I really liked doing it. One thing that I enjoyed doing was giving these guys shoutouts, and with Paul and with Matt Cave and with Echo Base, they shared their content with their subscribers, but the other ones did not. And I was tagging them. I was trying to encourage them to watch my video. I followed them on Instagram and I sent them messages in their Instagram. I don't have Twitter, and I don't really have any interest in having Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. But with the other people that I gave my shoutouts to, they gladly shared it. And for those of you who did that, I want to say thank you guys for doing that, and that means a lot. And part of the reason why my shout out to Echo Base Network was the most viewed is because, well, their subscriber counts were high and into the tens of thousands of subscribers, and so because of that, they shared that on their community post, and I was just extremely grateful. And so thank you, Echo Base Network, for doing that, for sharing that on your community page, and inviting others to view my shout out. But when I talked about what I was going to be, some of the things that I was going over was some of the content that matters to me a lot. And if you watch my trailer on my homepage, you will get an idea as to what I'm talking about, as to the videos that I'm going to be making from this point forward. And so I just don't see myself doing a subscriber shout out on this. Now, I've explored some options. One of those was putting a subscriber shout out in the middle of whatever video I decided to make. But when I'm watching other videos and people are thanking their sponsors and it takes like a minute or two to do that, I usually fast forward through it. And so that's the fear I have. If I gave a subscriber shout out in the middle of my video, will it be fast forwarded or not? And so that option, I think, I'm not going to be doing. The other option that I'm thinking about doing is just making shorts on my page. I just don't know if that's going to generate views or not, or if it's still going to be the same as what I did on my subscriber shoutouts. That remains to be seen. So that's an option. I don't know if that's going to work or not. I'm still tossing that up in the air. But for the time being, my subscriber shoutout is not going to be a featured video on my content creation from this point forward. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to be getting rid of it altogether. I'm going to keep it in my playlist. So if you want to watch my subscriber shoutouts playlist, I will link the playlist at the end of this video. But I just want to explore what is the best options for me, what works the best for me. And I think that doing my subscriber shoutouts just is not generating the interest that I thought it was going to happen. But needless to say, I could still bring it back, depending on how much growth I continue to develop on my channel. But for the time being, my subscriber shoutout is on hiatus. And so those of you who I gave a shout out to, and if you're on the playlist, well, consider yourself in a rare category. So you can be thankful for that. So what do you guys think? Should I continue my subscriber shout out? Or should I just put these in video short forms? Or just not do it until further notice? Please let me know down in the comments. and thank you for watching.